KHCloud here with my Honeymoon review for Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix HD. For this review, I played the first 2 hours of the game. The introduction has a lot of story, a lot more than Kingdom Hearts 1, and they kind of just get you right into it. Like, there's little time between starting the game and using a Keyblade. Roxas has his friends that he likes to hang out with, Hayner, Pence, Olette, and each one of them feels distinct. The dialogue between them is a bit silly, but the series overall is kind of created for preteens and especially teens in this game. So for the dialogue to be a little bit silly is kind of fine. They're not really trying to do anything, crazy with the dialogue. One of the first things that you notice if you're coming from Kingdom Hearts 1 into Kingdom Hearts 2 is that the UI is improved overall. It looks a lot more clean. And the animations in the cutscenes are definitely improved, and there's a lot more of them. I think if you watch my playthrough from Kingdom Hearts 1, you'll notice there's a lot of cases where the characters kind of have like just generic movements and their mouth just kind of goes regardless of what they're saying. There's less of those cutscenes. They're still there because I don't think they had the time to animate everything, but there's less of them in this. And the scenes that are animated with a bit higher quality. They have a little tutorial bit at the beginning, which I find rather annoying. You go to this shop and you kind of have to like walk forward to this person, and it kind of pops up on the screen and doesn't let you continue the action until you actually go through and click through all the stuff that it's telling you to do. But it's really basic stuff. It's like press forward on the analog stick to move forward, or the one that they do kind of have to tell you, I guess, because if you're new to the series, you're not going to know, is locking on, which is R1. But like just camera movement and regular movement, they kind of just force it on you, and I feel like it's not necessary at all. I think most people can kind of pick that up right away. And especially if you're going through this for like multiple playthroughs, like, when I was a kid on my PlayStation 2, I played this game so many times, and that was just so annoying. But another thing I noticed is just kind of the scenario that they have you in doesn't make any sense. Like, you go up to one of the guys, and he's like, I don't know, Roxas, maybe talk to that person about this thing. And then they kind of send you around all these shops. It's just kind of weird from a story perspective, so it's, in my opinion, kind of shoot in maybe through testing. Maybe they just never intended to kind of like have this kind of tutorial thing, and then testers were like, I don't know what to do, so then they put it in. They have a money gathering period early in the game where you're supposed to be going around and doing all these little odd jobs. It's fine. The odd jobs are a great way to get introduced into little mechanics that get added, like reaction commands that are new to Kingdom Hearts 2. And those are things that kind of like you hit triangle button to interact with the environment, and it has, specific animation, a specific attack, or something like that. But overall, that money gathering scene, there's no need for it to be as long as it is, because if you perfect all of the jobs, there's only 6 jobs you can do. If you perfect all of them, you still don't have enough money to go and progress. And I feel like that's kind of silly. Like, once you perfect all of them, that should in itself be enough money to go and progress further in the game, because having to go through these same mini games over and over again is not terribly fun. And also, in my opinion, it kind of makes the introduction too long. There are a few things that make the introduction too long, and we'll get more into that later on. One of the best parts of the introduction is the character Diz, played by the wonderful Christopher Lee. And obviously, he knocks it out of the park. Every time he talks, even when his dialogue isn't necessarily that interesting, I'm kind of drawn into listening to him talk because he has that perfect voice. And he definitely kind of, keeps my attention when we go off of Roxas, and actually kind of keeps my attention into the story overall, because his character gives you that big hint that there's something more. I found the first boss battle with Roxas to go a bit long. You're fighting this giant nobody guy, kind of like the giant heartless guy you fight at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1. But I feel like it's just, there's no real need for it to go as long as it does. You kind of get the mechanics for a lot of the fighting and how to fight bosses and all that kind of stuff pretty early on, and overall it's not a very fun boss fight. So I just felt like it could have been a little shorter. I also definitely missed dodge roll, because when I was playing this, I was also playing Kingdom Hearts 1. I still am playing both of them. And in Kingdom Hearts 1, I have a dodge roll at this point, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, I don't. And there are many moments when I'm playing where I'll hit square to try to dodge roll, and I'm just blocking randomly. I like that ability in action RPGs a lot. I think in any kind of action game like this, a hack and slash or an action RPG, I think dodge rolling is one of the better things that you can have included in the game. It just makes the combat overall feel really fluid, and it also makes you feel like you're in control of your destiny. One of the things you definitely don't want in an action game is for people to feel like they're not really in that much control over what they're doing, because that might lead to some frustration. They have these dream sequences at the end of each day in the Twilight Town period, and they're great at recapping the last game. Basically, you're getting fed Sora's memories. I don't want to go necessarily through the how because it's fairly complex, and also it involves, you know, some story elements that are not only in Kingdom Hearts 2 but also in another game. So I kind of want to leave that out as to how it's happening, but it definitely gives you like a full rundown of the previous game and catches you up to speed in case this is the first Kingdom Hearts game you're jumping into. There's a character they introduce you into in the intro, and he immediately becomes the best character in Kingdom Hearts, and his name's Axel. And like, as soon as he gets introduced, he just kind of has this way about him. He has these really cool weapons, really good voice actor, Quentin Flynn, and it just makes him feel like amazing right away. Like your first encounter with him, you're like, whoa, this guy's actually kind of pretty cool. I'd like to see more of him. Some of the fights are easier than I remember. I played this on the standard mode. Originally, I was going to play it on proud mode, but before I do these kind of honeymoon review writing periods, I've actually went in and played these games before. Now, I've beaten Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 anyways, and I've played past 2 hours of all of these games anyways. But, just to kind of recap myself, and so I decided to try proud mode, because why not? We'll see how it works. I got my ass beat, put it lightly, and so I went in standard mode. The difference in difficulty is kind of crazy. Like, standard mode is super easy and proud mode is really hard, and, you know, that's just kind of, I wish there was like a middle ground. That's just kind of, it's not really related to the introduction, it's just kind of like a personal feeling. They have a ton of Kingdom Hearts mythology this time that they kind of need to like drudge through, but I'm interested in all of it at this point. You know, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 2, the mythology they add, I don't feel like it feels like too much. In some of the later games, the later spin-offs, yeah, it kind of starts to feel like it's a lot. But at this point, it feels like it's like the perfect mix. It's the perfect amount of mythology in for the series. They have this section that I'm not entirely sure why it's in the game. I'm not sure what its gameplay purpose is. I'm not even sure what its story purpose is. There's a few things here that maybe have importance story-wise. They have this Seven Wonders bit where you go into another part of Twilight Town and you discover like 7 wonders. Really, it's 5 because I think like 1 and 2 of them are related to cutscenes at the beginning and the end of the 7 wonders area. But still, I found the 7 wonders just to kind of be a waste of time, and it's really disappointing because it pushes the introduction just a little bit too long. Overall, and this is a thing that's kind of been sitting on my mind for a while, basically since I've kind of started this series, because Kingdom Hearts 2 to me is one of my favorite games. It's up there, it's definitely within the top 5, it's probably number 2 to be honest, and the one really big issue I have with it is the introduction. I feel like it goes on too long. I feel like any introduction into a game that is longer than 2 hours is too long. People want to get involved into the action really soon. And if you're still kind of introducing stuff story-wise or gameplay-wise 2 hours in, a lot of people get turned off. And I feel like they're missing out on a lot if they do with Kingdom Hearts 2, but that also is kind of Square Enix's job to make sure that doesn't happen. In particular, one of the best parts of Kingdom Hearts 2 from a gameplay perspective is the drive forms. And you don't even get to play around with the drive forms until after the 2 hour period. In fact, you get a really, really awesome boss fight. I'll probably put it at the end of this video just to show you how awesome it is. And that happens just after that 2 hour period, about 2.5 hours in. I feel like there are people who probably missed out on that because of the fact that it just went so long, and all this stuff with Roxas and having the 7 Wonders thing and having the money game go on for so long. I really feel like you could eliminate the 7 Wonders part or eliminate the money part, maybe combine the two of them together, because overall, by having those two sections be so long, they're really what pushes out the best part of the game beyond like that 2 hour period. And I know people who never played that until I kind of encouraged them to. They were ready to quit on the game after this. I really feel like that's, if you play this and you kind of feel like, you know what, I'm done. Don't, because it definitely gets a ton of fun. If you play through the whole Twilight Town period and you get to the Mysterious Tower with Yensid and you don't like it at that point, then you're probably not going to like Kingdom Hearts 2. But I mean, I don't know many people who I think wouldn't at that point want to play the game. Yeah, overall, I would say that, the intro has a lot of problems. It's actually better than I remember it being when I was a kid. But still, those problems, I think, kind of create a little bit of a barrier to entry. If you're going to play Kingdom Hearts 2, maybe on the intro, it gets way better, and not too long after the intro, mind you. Anyways, guys, peace.
Simply amazing, Roxas.
Axel.
You really do remember me this time. I'm so flattered! But you're too late! Come here, I'll make it all stop. Burn, baby! Yeah.
Gotcha!
Get back! Won't forget this! Got it memorized!
Come on. God, that fight, was so good. It made all the time building up to it when I first played this game, all that time, just I feel like nothing just because of how awesome that fight is. But still, happens outside the 2. See, now if you cut that Seven Wonders bit, that would be happening at the end of the 2 hours, and it would be amazing.
You get on their bad side and they'll destroy you!
No one would miss me.
Otherwise, it just feels like a bit of a drag until that point.
That's not true. I would.
Axel.
Let's meet again in the next life.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
Silly. Just because you have a next life